The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros are comments made by Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury said that he wants to surpass Mayweather and Canelo with a record-breaking contract. Floyd Mayweather had a 6-fight deal with Showtime that would make him up to $250 million. But of course, don't forget, one fight that he had while he was under that contract was with Manny Pacquiao, and he made over $100 million for that fight alone. And Canelo Alvarez has an 11-fight deal for $365 million with DAZN. And when you do the number and you do the math on that, that's $33 million a fight. So it's actually over, but a little bit over. I'm not trying to be here all day breaking down the numbers, but over $33 million per fight. So, G, what are your thoughts on Tyson Fury's comment saying he wants to surpass Canelo and Mayweather with a record-breaking deal?
I'll tell y'all this right now. I don't believe now one word of none of that, and this is why. Even let's just say he becomes undisputed, right? And he has one more fight after that on his ESPN contract, and let's just say he renegotiates, it gets something crazy. I don't necessarily even trust Tyson Fury to even want to keep the belts, So I think the belts are going to be dispersed. That's one. Two, he's going to go back down to fighting them all the Wallins and them Schwartz dudes. And nobody's going to want to, I don't know any network or any promoter is going to want to see that poor level of opposition to be paying them top dollar like that. I felt like with ESPN, they were willing to do that investment because it was going to lead to the Wilder fight, which will then lead to the AJ unification fight. So it was worth the investment. Once he becomes undisputed, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, this is hypothetical. Do y'all really believe Tyson Fury's going to stay in the game fighting top-notch dudes every time? You know what I mean? Or maybe let's say he has 2 or 3 tune-ups or whatever, but for the most part, he's going to have to fight top 10 opposition. I don't believe he's going to do that. I think he's going to get comfortable again. He's probably going to get excited off of the, celebrity. Probably going to play with the booger sugar, and he's going to give up all of those.
You don't got faith in my
statements, bro.
Oh, listen, man. Hey, listen. Y'all want me to be honest. That's just, hey, listen. What he do before when he had them belts from Klitschko? He had 3 out of the 4, and he gave them things up. And what did he do? Play with the
different stage in his life, though. You can't sit in there and say because he messed it all up, he was younger, he was dumber. You know what?
I hear y'all.
If you gave me a G, if you gave me a G when I was younger, I would blow it on something stupid. If you gave me a G now, I'll still have that G. I'll turn that G into more money later. He was younger and dumber.
Hey,
bro.
I hope y'all are right.
Exactly.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Because I even remember an interview that he said the only belt he cares about is the WBC belt. So when I hear stuff like that, that just tells me, he's not paying them sanctioning fees.
No, bro,
and not to mention he's not even licensed.
It's the belt he has right now.
But he said it beforehand, and now you could be right too. But however, again, this is the same guy.
Wilder didn't care about the lineal. Wilder didn't care about lineal status either. But if he would have won it, he would have been like, "I'm the lineal."
I'm the lineal. Right about that. Hey man, you're right. All of these dudes be lying, but I don't know. I just don't really see Fury actually saying hey, you know what? I'm a put it on for the heavyweight division like that. And not to mention for Fury to do that, right? Which is possible because of that performance that he just did with Wilder. Prior to that, I don't think so because he's not the most exciting heavyweight. But now that he's going for the knockouts and everything, hey man, who knows? I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. You know what I mean? I would like to see the Tyson Fury that's trying to go for the knockouts. But if it's the Tyson Fury that fought Klitschko, I don't really see these networks and these promoters really gonna dig deep and throw all that money away on Tyson Fury like that.
All right, true.
No, not at all. Not gonna happen. Not for Tyson Fury. He's not that type of fighter. There's only certain type of fighters that can do that. One of them being Canelo Alvarez, because he has 2 countries. He has Mexico and you have the United States. And he also has little fans sprinkled across the UK and other places, but he has two big bases who really mess with Canelo. So he's able, and he has that charisma, and people love Canelo. Another one of those people is Floyd Mayweather. And what Floyd Mayweather has to his ability is that he's a
just you can say he's hated. You know what I mean?
he's a black he's an African American fighter who's under. I'm trying to be. He's an undefeated African
Hold on
American
a second.
fighter.
The views and opinions of Trill do not reflect the Boxing Bros as a whole. It is not the opinion shared by every face on this panel. All right, go ahead, bro.
All right, go. Thank you for the disclaimer. Floyd Mayweather is the most hated boxer, so he has that going for him. And in the United States, he's one of the biggest draws because people tune in to watch him lose. Bang. So with all that put together, those are two things why these guys has got those big deals. Tyson Fury, on the other hand, he's not that fighter. We love Tyson Fury. I like Tyson Fury, but he's not that fighter that has multiple countries behind him or has that hate factor. And he doesn't have that a lot of competition out there that people will want to see him face. He's not going up and down in weight. There's not other fighters out there. After he really if he fights Joshua and he already beat Deontay Wilder. So if he fights Joshua, what's really next for him?
Now he got options. He can fight Dillian. He can fight Dillian.
He can fight Usyk. He can fight.
He can fight Usyk. He can fight.
But just like you said, G, which I agree with, he's not. He's gonna fight the other fighters that he was fighting before.
Yeah, big facts. But this is why I will challenge you, Trill. He does have the UK and the US.
I think it's split. I think it's split. I think it's split right now for Tyson Fury in the UK. But we'll see. There's some people that like him. But I do say he does have the UK. But I do think it's split. He would have to fight a guy like Anthony Joshua. I think it's split right now. Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Maybe they can help us in the comment section. Who's more popping in the UK? AJ or Tyson Fury? I think it's AJ.
I agree with you, but if Tyson Fury wins, then it's a whole different ball game, you know. So
I'm not. Yeah,
still from the UK.
I feel you, bro. I wasn't playing ifs.
Yeah, but that's the only way you're gonna get that big deal is if he's undisputed. You know what I mean? They're not gonna give him that just for being WBC.
Right? Yeah. Right now, I'm talking about right now. He ain't got the juice.
Yeah, I respect that. I agree, actually. So.
All right, Ned.
I disagree with both of y'all, man. This is why. After he got the draw with Deontay Wilder, he got that $80 million fight deal from Top Rank and ESPN. And then he got that endorsement deal with the WWE to do his to act like he's a wrestler and things like that. So in his story, it just compelling to a lot of Orthodox or modern day Christians, where it's he found Jesus, he can't come home to Christ story. So if he wins undisputed, I could see him getting a big contract where he retires after 2 fights.
The views and opinions of Ned don't reflect the Boxing Bros as a whole. All the faces.
He said Orthodox Christians.
Was that the word?
No, it's not, yo. I highly doubt Fury's an Orthodox Christian, bro. So.
Well, modern day. That's why I switched to modern day Christians. He captures their hearts with that come to Christ story.
Blessings, bro.
Blessings. But yeah, I can see it happening, but I see him retiring after 2 fights of that deal.
So how's he gonna surpass Floyd Mayweather with just 2 fights?
No, the deal he got will surpass Floyd Mayweather, but he will retire after 2 fights of that deal.
So he's gonna get.
You know what? I got you. It doesn't matter about the deal. It's about the pay-per-view numbers. Floyd is the pay-per-view king. So you can get a contract. Who cares? What's it gonna look like with the pay-per-views? And Fury's just not that dude. Mm-hmm. I agree with Trill. God, my bad.
No, I ain't doing bad. Sharing your views. A number of things. Is it possible? Anything's possible, but it's going to take a lot for Fury to be able to surpass Floyd Mayweather and Canelo Alvarez, mainly because these guys have been active. Canelo Alvarez has been a pro since he was 15 years old. He fought Mayweather at a young age. He fought a number of big names by a certain point in his career. And that's what allowed him to get such a large deal. And he also got that deal at a time when Mayweather, the former number one guy, was leaving the sport, and he was the heir apparent, and that's what got him that deal. He was the next biggest thing out there. If Floyd didn't retire, that would have been Floyd's deal, and it probably would have had to be a lot more money. So that's one thing. The other thing is Floyd Mayweather's deal was for only 6 fights. You're talking 250 million for 6 fights. Canelo Alvarez deal is 365 million for 11 fights. And Floyd made way more than that when you factor in the Manny Pacquiao fight, which is the number one fight in boxing history. And you look at the top grossing fights in boxing history, you have Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. You have Mayweather versus Oscar De La Hoya. You have Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. You have Mayweather in the top 3 fights. The one common denominator is Floyd Mayweather. So if you said it was a fluke and it was only because he had Manny, then he did it with Oscar and he did it with Conor McGregor, and you can flip it around however you slice the pie, Floyd Mayweather's it. Because the hatred, when you hate someone like Floyd Mayweather, that's the most profitable thing. Because people want to see someone like Floyd Mayweather get beat. Because there's that type of hatred for someone like Floyd Mayweather. But when you talk about Canelo Alvarez, he's an up and coming guy. Country behind him. This is a country where we have a lot of Mexican Americans as well. So even if you just take the Mexican American population, it's still profitable for Canelo Alvarez. But there are a lot of Americans in general that like Canelo Alvarez, like myself, like Trill, like G, like Ned. So he's a guy who captured the imagination of the boxing public, mainly because he's taken on all the toughest fights. Then you have Tyson Fury. You have a guy who beat Vladimir Klitschko, suffered depression, left the game, came back, and was able to regain the belts. And we appreciate that story, but there's just a few things. One, if he beats Anthony Joshua and becomes undisputed champion, he won't need to fight the top opposition to get a good deal. But to break Floyd Mayweather's record, he's going to have to fight the top opposition. And G says something I don't think it's fair. And I kind of jumped in on him at the time. I don't think it's fair to say he'll win and then go back to acting crazy or whatever. But it will create a scenario where you've conquered the game. And if you look at the logic and his reasoning for why he went on that bench, he said there was nothing left to prove. He had reached the highest of highs in the sport, and there was no motivation. So I think where G's coming from is, what do you do when you reach the pinnacle again, and then there's no more motivation? Well, it seems like he's already creating more goals. His new goal is to try to get a deal bigger than Floyd Mayweather and Canelo, and there's nothing wrong with that. That should be his goal. Congratulations for fighting for money now. You should have been doing that from the beginning. Another thing, Fury's not a knockout artist. There's this new belief that because he knocked out Deontay Wilder, that like now he's going to step in the ring and he's going to knock out every guy he's been in the ring with. Let me remind you, before Deontay Wilder, there was a guy named Otto Wallin, and he couldn't knock him out. And Otto Wallin went toe-to-toe with him and busted his eye and all types of things. So before you sit and you had these comparisons, you think if Otto Wallin could do what he did with Tyson Fury, you think Joshua couldn't? Styles make fights, and I know it's the oldest cliche in the book, but it's true. Wilder's a guy with one hand. If you could avoid the one hand, you got a good chance of beating him. But Joshua is a guy who's bigger, faster, and stronger than Otto Wallin. So don't just write Joshua off and like, oh, Fury will cook him. We won't know what will happen in that fight. Both men have skills to win. But the one thing I know is I only see Fury bust up one dude badly, and it was Tom Schwartz. And that guy didn't deserve to be in the ring with Fury. Wallin fought him. And Deontay Wilder, I've always said, soon as someone stands up to him, he was going down. So I can only give as much credit for the win as I think it's worth. And I don't think Deontay Wilder is one of the best heavyweights in the world. I don't. So I can't really say that Fury's like so great because he beat Deontay Wilder. But I do think he's great because of his boxing skills, but not because of that win. I thought he was great before that fight. I still think he's great after that fight. That fight didn't tell me anything except Fury's better than Deontay Wilder. Now, lastly, if he's going to get a contract bigger than Floyd Mayweather, they're probably going to put these names in. He's going to have to fight Dillian White, Andy Ruiz, Daniel Dubois, Gerald Big Baby Miller, Alexander Usyk, Luis Ortiz, Oscar Rivera, and Joe Joyce. Those are going to probably be names included in that deal. And if he's going to fight those guys back to back to back to back to back, then maybe he'll have a shot. But otherwise, I don't see it happening, mainly because there's just not the opposition for it in the heavyweight division.
But if he pulls that off, I have to be honest, he's the man in the heavyweight division because that's a mean lineup right there, you know. And he already got Wilder and Klitschko, and this could potentially AJ on top of that. Plus all of these dudes, these are all like top 10 or up.
He'll be a bad boy.
Honestly, man, he's that dude if he pulls that off for real. Like
if he pulls that off, move over Lennox.
That's what I'm saying.
Move over Lennox.
And that's a big F. But y'all tell us what y'all think. Please comment in the comment section and please like and subscribe. Check us my podcast out on all major streaming services and check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. That's the Boxing Bros.